I was born and raised in Plymouth, Michigan, and was more known as an athlete in high school. I matriculated to the University of Michigan, where I ended up playing volleyball on the third ever varsity team for volleyball for women. So I played volleyball for 4 years at Michigan, where my coach was a huge influence on my life. And I didn't realize it at the time because I never wanted to coach because I didn't have that much patience. Um, I was called into coaching. And where I was called to coaching in Ann Arbor, my future husband was also a coach. So we met, um, and within a year and a half, we were married. Western Michigan called and said, come and coach our women's basketball team. And so we moved to Kalamazoo. And I find that interesting and kind of full circle, which is where a lot of my life has gone. In that, when I applied to colleges and universities, it was Michigan and Western. Little did I know after I spent 4 years at Michigan that I would spend 64 years in Kalamazoo. And we have not regretted 1 minute of it, and we love it so much. I began coaching here at Kalamazoo Central in 1982 and 83. I then found a job at Kalamazoo College, or Kalamazoo College found me. And again, it was a perfect fit. I loved it. I loved the academic challenge. And I coached there from 84 to 2019 when I retired. So I had 35 seasons of coaching the Hornets. And um, along the way, became a tenured professor of physical education. Uh, I was a part-time, I was a assistant basketball coach, assistant softball coach for some of the time, and then associate chaplain as well, which led me to write my first book, Sportuality: Finding Joy in the Games. So I did that. I did that thing, and then the book following that came out 2019, um, or right around COVID, was Maxability: Who Are You and What Are You Here For? So I've been really happy with those books, and they've kind of defined who I am. I loved my athletes. I loved recruiting them to the college, to the special place with this special program that that took them from young adulthood into adulthood. And then, having been there for so long, seeing what they chose to do in their careers just gave me so much joy. It was so fun. It was the people. It was totally the people. I believe we had some winning seasons. I think we did very well. We had some losing seasons. But I am still in touch with these alums, and I'm just so grateful for their time in my life. You know, they've shaped who I am today. 35 years of alumni. There is a huge connection between what I do now as vice mayor and as a member of the Commission of Kalamazoo and coaching and teamwork. One of the reasons I made the team at Michigan was because I was a good team player. I was a hard worker, did my homework, trained, all that kind of fun stuff. But today, uh, uh, I sit on a group of 7 people. And if you know your volleyball, there are 6 players and a libero, the player who comes in and out plays defense. So there's literally 7 people on a court, and there's 7 people on the commission. I'm very comfortable working with them, and it's not working against them. We're working together for the greater good of the city. And so when I retired, my husband, God bless him, threw me a surprise party at the college and had invited former Mayor Bobby Hopewell to come and say a few words. Well, Bobby had ideas about me being on commission before he even mentioned it to me. And so he said a few words to this crowd that had gathered for this party. Ladies and gentlemen, the next mayor of the city of Kalamazoo. I'm like, I don't know about that, Mayor Hopewell. And so time went on. That was in the fall of 2018. In 2019, Mayor Hopewell came to me. He said, I'm not running again for mayor, but he said, I believe that you should run for Kalamazoo City Commission. And, had a few questions. One was, how much time? What kind of time is this going to take? And he said, there's 2 meetings a month. So 2 meetings a month turns into like 20 meetings a month or 30 meetings a month, but I can't imagine my life without this time with the people of Kalamazoo. It's been such a gift, and I'm grateful to Bobby for that little nudge. Anything I've done in my life has been with a little nudge, and I'm grateful to all the people who do that. My mom is the one who called me up and said, you should try out for the volleyball team at the University of Michigan. I'm like, are you kidding me? But everything has totally worked out, and I have to trust that process. And so I've learned to trust processes throughout my years. And to have this seat on commission is humbling, yet a huge gift. The learning curve for being on commission was the old adage, drinking from a fire hose. There was a lot to learn because I was involved in academia. I was involved in committee work, which became second to as well as commission. But I had no idea about the departments. So what I did was went and toured the water treatment plant because that is a giant part of the city budget. And it is what we do as a city commission. And we make sure we guarantee clean and safe drinking water. And so I went and toured the water treatment plant, which was fascinating. Everyone should do it. If you're involved in our community, you should do it. I learned a lot. So it was a learning curve, big learning curve, learning about water, how we get clean drinking water, what happens to our wastewater, and how it goes back into the river. I also did a ride-along and a tour of public safety. Tour of public safety, met all the people in public safety at that time, and did a ride-along with a Kalamazoo College alum who was one of our officers who's now in our detective unit. And he told me a lot about what public safety does, who they are. Big learning curve there. The only time I had interacted with public safety might have been, on the side of a road. But they're wonderful. And these folks, again, would give their life for you. And my gratitude to them is so great. The community planning, economic development, one of the people in that department actually played volleyball at Kalamazoo College, so I knew her and I already trusted her work. And so learning about what economic development means in the city of Kalamazoo was important to me. And just really then going from department to department and talking to the heads of the departments, listening to their presentations to us on the dais, and learning so much. And 6 years later, I still don't know all the workings and inner workings of the city, but I know who to ask for it. It's humbling in the city to know that I'm a part of something much greater than myself, much greater than 1,500 students on a campus. Now we have, 75,000 people in the city of Kalamazoo that I get to represent, that I speak for, and assuming I don't hear otherwise from them, will vote on behalf of. When I was at the college, in my associate chaplain role, I knew that a lot of what I did was finding meaning and purpose in what I did, which is why I wrote the books, and finding those meaningful moments. Not a meeting goes by when I don't find a moment of something that we're discussing or have voted on and are looking forward to doing. For example, the road projects here in Kalamazoo. To be a part of that is extremely humbling and extremely satisfying. A funny thing is when they opened Station 2 over in the Edison neighborhood for public safety, my name, along with my fellow commissioners that were on the commission at the time it opened, is on the building. And very humbling, very humbling. And then also the Inkster Bridge, to be there in perpetuity is amazing to me. But I'm finding meaning and purpose in being among all of the people in Kalamazoo and really trying to get a sense of what people want. I know people want things that will make their lives better, but my sense is that civic government and municipal government provides things like water and roads and economic development and the clerk's office and so on, and people to come and pick up the branches after a storm, public services and public safety. Those are the main things that we focus upon, but people want to feel better about this community. And sometimes that's not in our wheelhouse. But how do I help them feel better about this community except by being a part of it and going to events and talking to people and listening to people? That's what municipal government, to me, is all about. The people who make up our local government care about the city of Kalamazoo. As Mayor Anderson will say at the end of every meeting, I love you, Kalamazoo. Um, I think I can speak for everyone on the current commission. They love the city of Kalamazoo. They are not career politicians. There's a few that have come out, like Sean McCann, right? Sean McCann began on city commission and then moved on. I can tell you I don't have such grand plans. But no, we do it because we love the city and we want to see it. We all have a specific skill set. And when you talk about diversity, if you look at us, we're diverse. We're old, we're young, we're black, we're white, we're female, we're male. We have great diversity on the commission, but that's what makes us great, is that we can really dig into issues and come out on the side of community. You know, in my book, I define these words that, when used in, at the time, sport, uh, taken back to their original meaning, their original etymology, um, made sport make better sense to me, and therefore found the joy in the games. I have found that the words that I use in spirituality also work in city government, or probably government. I'm thinking of the word community, because there's a sport community for every sport or for just sports in general. Community means to have charge of together. To me, it's a verb. Community means that you are active and you understand what community is to you, and that you're involved where you feel called to be involved. Whether that is on a board or commission, whether that's as a voter. We've traditionally had pretty low voter turnout for our city commission elections, which, being in the odd years and the opposite years, I can see people doing that, but there's no excuse not to want to vote for your city commission. There are so many ways that you can get involved. You can give input to city commission. You can come and do public comment at city commission. Doesn't have to be what we're doing wrong. You can tell us what we're doing right. You can tell us a story. You can tell us who you are. You can tell us who you are in the community. But to have charge of together, you can, if you see an issue out there, you can call the non-emergency number for public safety, or you can call 311 in the city of Kalamazoo and let someone know what you see and that it needs to be addressed. So you can be active citizens in the city of Kalamazoo, and we have several of them, and I'm grateful for them as well. To be involved at a board level means that you research whatever board you might like to be involved with. There is an application online on the city's website, kalamazooCity.org, and you can apply for a board or commission there. To apply for commission, the packets are still out for this year. July 22nd at 4 p.m. is when the that you have to have your paperwork in to run for city commission. You have to decide to run, and then your campaign goes from July through August, September, and October. November 4th is our city election, and there's also, let's see, absentee ballots, however, will go out in September, on September 25. So, yeah, you can be involved in city government. Uh, some of the boards and commissions that a lot of people are interested in and that really make a big difference in the way the city works are the zoning board, the planning commission, the zoning board of appeals, environmental concerns committee, um, the parks and recreation board, the Foundation for Excellence board. So people can be involved in so many ways and talk about how we spend our tax dollars. On your board, again, it's another working group it's a team that's working together for the greater good of Kalamazoo. So zoning board, let's look at zoning. And in the past several years, we have updated our zoning code in Kalamazoo to increase business, but also housing opportunities for developers and for individuals and entrepreneurs and people who want to start a business or grow a business in Kalamazoo. So in order to be in touch with the city, one of the things that was very clear to me as I began commission was a need for greater communication. And since then, I think before I became on commission, we did have the View from the Curb that came out about everything from recycling to what you do with your leaves and so on. Um, but since then, we've added City View, the City View that goes to every mailbox in the city of Kalamazoo. And it answers a lot of questions and tells people about what's going on in the city of Kalamazoo. So the physical mailings go out. Our website is chock full of information. Again, kalamazooCity.org. Anything that you'd like to know about the city is there. 311, it was added. 311 is new. It came in just prior to and during COVID. So people could call just inside the city, call 311 and get someone who knows how to answer your question. And if they can't, they'll get back to you so that you get your questions answered and your problems solved. The emails, you can email City Commission or City Commission at kalamazooCity.org and somebody will get back to you. You can email the city manager's office or you can email, our addresses are available on the website. So you can email us each individually, but we'll most likely get back to you. But yes, closing that loop of communication is key to a functioning democracy, to a functioning government. And so people have to want to know what's going on. And unfortunately, only when there's a problem do people care what's going on, or if it happens in my neighborhood. Another thing that you can do to be involved is be involved in your neighborhood association. Because in Kalamazoo, we have 22 neighborhoods, each of which has their own association. And that's closest to home. That's what happens closest to home. And there are plans involved in our planning process, the Imagine Kalamazoo 2025, and we're wrapping that up and beginning the planning process for Imagine Kalamazoo 2035. So 10 years from now, what do you want your neighborhood to look like? What do you want your city to look and feel like? What do you want us to be in 2035? So there's a huge a way for everyone to participate in all of these planning processes. And it's not for lack of trying by the city to get people to plan. And if you don't plan, well, if you don't vote or you don't participate in the planning process and you don't like the outcome, I'm sorry, we didn't hear from you. So we're asking people to be involved in city government.